Hello YouTube! I am Pinstar and this is Pinstar Plays Against the Storm. Developed by Ermite Industries? I think that's the name. And published by Hooded Horse. This game has been on my radar since its inception. A roguelike city builder ticks two of my strongest boxes that I happen to enjoy. But for some reason, it has always evaded. Like whenever a new build come out or early access came out, I was always sort of knee deep in something else. So I haven't had a chance to sit down and play it. Well, one of my viewers, Duncan Cunningham, thank you very much, gifted me a copy of the game for the winter sale, which it is on sale right now. And just recently, earlier in December, they came out with they left early access. This is 1.0, actually 1.0.2 R. So this is the full version of the game, you know, with all of the layers of polish and balancing and all that good stuff. And man, I have been addictively playing this. So it's series time. So let's dive in, shall we? Now, the save file, I decided, I made an executive decision here to start a somewhat in medias res. Essentially, when you start out, yeah, you have your tutorials and whatnot. There is a meta progression to the game here. That essentially as you complete settlements, you gain these meta resources, and then you can spend them on these upgrades that give you permanent bonuses or new options or unlock new, new things within the game. So I have done a round of those. Now the other thing that the game does here is, so let me explain the base premise is. We are in a world where it is always raining. Always raining. No exceptions. Basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to make outposts. We are a viceroy. We are trying to make outposts out into the world to basically set up towns, secure resources, and ultimately make our way to these things, the seals. These are things that allow us to permanently weaken / push back the storm. The problem is that there's this bar down here that every year that progresses in any of your settlements increases this bar, and once it reaches here, the storm gets so bad that the entire world, except for the capital, the smoldering city, gets wiped out and then reseeded. So essentially the whole world can get reset. So all of my previous settlements that I did to reach this point are gone because we just had a wipe. That being said, all of the progress that I made from that, all the meta resources that I got to spend on upgrades. So we are in a stronger spot than when we were at the very beginning. But let's dive into a settlement, and I'll explain how we do things around here. Now, the other thing you have here is you have choices of where to settle. You can only settle so far, and then you have to settle close by your next thing here. Now, some of these are these little buildings out here are different, unique things. They add unique modifiers to whatever city that you're setting up. Some are positive, like this. Glades have an increased chance of including fertile soil. That's absolutely a great thing. But then you have things like this, the Monastery of the Holy Flame. They don't let you forbid consumption or favor any specific species. I'll explain those mechanics later on. So that is technically a negative because it restricts your options. But because of that, you get a royal resupply upon winning that city, which means you get more meta resources. And not to mention you get some extra meta resources from here. That's what some of these icons here are for. So I think what my plan is also these question marks are other ones of these. They could be good or bad, but we don't know what they are yet. I want to make my way towards this bronze steel here, see if we can't get this completed by the end of the cycle. But first things first, we're going to start right here. And also you can see from the different color tiles here, there are different biomes. Different biomes have different resources, traits, and whatnots. So this is the marshlands. So let's dive in right here. Okay, so we have two sets of villagers that we can choose to start with. There are 5 different races. We only have 4 of them unlocked right now. We need to get to level 10 in order to get the 5th race. So here we can either start with 4 humans and 3 beavers and a smattering of goodies here with actually 2 other random arrivals for villagers. Or we can start with just 7 humans straight up, some berries, 2 other arrivals, and some pickled goods. My inclination is to go with the beavers. Beavers are really good at wood cutting. And wood cutting is a very important thing in this game. That being said, I'm not as big a fan of the tools, although 10 tools is good. I'll explain that. I'm not really at a point where I can use pipes, so I might just trade those away. Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to go with this. And then if I were to unlock more upgrades, I'd get a 3rd choice here. Now here we have the conditions. Obviously we know about the monastery, but there's a couple of random good things here. The marshlands are gatherer's paradise. Gathering speed is increased by 10% for every 2 workers assigned to gathering camps. And then giant organisms. Giant resource nodes can be found in the Forbidden Glade. Now, we can see other things here. Each biome, each city has its own set of natural resources. So these resources will appear in one way or another naturally in our biomes here. Also, randomly cutting down the trees will sometimes yield, not only will they yield wood, but they'll yield us a few other things. But there's a whole host of other resources that are not going to show up at all. So we need to either manufacture them or trade for them. And it's random every time. That's why this is a city builder roguelike. Right then, now I need to choose my embarkation bonuses. So I can choose 3 more villagers. That's not too bad. Because we have stone as a resource, I don't think we need to take stone or clay as starting. I do like staking wood, just extra wood. I know there's always going to be wood, but it's just useful on that front. Since we already starting with eggs, let's take some roots. I think that's the correct answer here. Also, as far as difficulty levels go, there's a whole host of them. You're actually meant to start low, even if you're, generally a competent city builder player, and then go deeper as you unlock enough meta progressions. Because, if you start off with no meta progression stuff with high difficulty, you're probably not going to win. So I'm on Pioneer. This is like the balanced difficulty. I will be probably going up to Veteran soon, but there's a specific unlock that you want to get. Anyway, enough jibba jabba, let's embark. Okay, so now we learn of our additional effects, the negatives. Mushrooms after rain, +3 to mushrooms production, gain 3 mushrooms every yield. Only active in the drizzle season, which is sort of like springtime. Lightweight wood. Woodcutters can carry 10 more goods in the drizzle season. That's good. So these are 2 random bonuses that we get. But now we have some negatives to deal with. Looming darkness. This one's present in every single one. Basically, your resolve, your people's morale is lower. Oh, looks like our 3rd race is harpies. Our morale is lower during the stormy season. That's kind of like the winter. And there's also a thing basically called the forced hostility, which can start making some of these more active at certain hostility levels. once we get there. So discovering a glade during the storm. Aha, it's creeping shadow. So don't discover glades during a storm. Got it. Fog. It's hard to walk. Villagers with the effect move minus 40%. Make sure they have housing. Okay, so I need to make sure everybody is housed to avoid the fog effect. And then lightning. You'll need to pay 5 copper. Or lightning will destroy 3 buildings. That's at hostility 3. So, yeah. Alright, so here is our people. We've got 8 humans, 3 beavers, 1 harpy. Each with their own specialties and specializations. I'm actually kind of glad we have exactly 1 harpy. So one of the things that you get from the game here is that your flame keeper, this is our ancient heart. This is what keeps us alive. We need to constantly feed it with some form of fuel. Otherwise, everyone's resolve will drop to nothing. If you drop to 0 or below, they will start leaving the city, and that's a quick way to start dying. The other way to lose is if the queen's impatience reaches maximum. Basically, this is constantly ticking up, but as you make progress, every time you fill a point of reputation, impatience goes back 1 because she's more contented that you're actually getting stuff done. And our goal to win is we need to get 14 points of reputation. Fill the blue bar all the way up. So that's our win and lose conditions. Now, here comes the roguelike part of this. Which buildings... So we start with an assortment of very basic, fairly weak buildings. These come stock standard. And do things very inefficiently. See those hollow stars? The stars represent how efficient it is at making that thing, and a hollow star means it is very inefficient. But we will be drafting new buildings, and every time we hit a reputation reward with one of these blue dots, we get to make a new blueprint choice. So we'll be unlocking more advanced buildings, but they'll be random. And I have no clue which ones we're going to get. Combine that with the fact that our 3 different races here have different needs. Actually, one thing that they 3 are in common, these 3 races all like biscuits as a complex food. So if I can get a biscuit chain going, I can make all of my people happy. Whereas others, like, for example, harpies like jerky, but beavers and humans do not like jerky. Actually, all 3 also need clothing too, so there's something to shoot for. But we need to consult, we need to see. So we start the game off by being able to choose 3 new blueprint buildings. So let's see what we get. So you can see 3 stars means it does that at the highest efficiency. 1 star is still better than the bare bones like baseline, and 2 stars is, middle of the road. Now, carpenter's really good because planks are an important resource to be producing. Tools are also very important, and luxury goods can come into play depending on our things here. That being said, the cookhouse can make biscuits, which is very important. But no, I don't think it's more important than the carpenter, and we might get offered the cookhouse again or something else that can make biscuits. So I'm going carpenter for our first. Okay, so we got offered the lumber mill, which can actually make planks better, but because we already have something that can do planks, I'm probably not gonna bother. Bricks, pottery, and crystallized dews, not a bad thing. Bricks are a key baseline resource. Crystallized dew is a sort of a form of metal, quote unquote, and can be important. So I think the brickyard's is a good one. Pottery is also useful as a medium material for other things. Okay, we did see that camps are an important thing here. So we have we get basic versions of camps. And I think Forager's Camp is where we want, because foraging grain's going to be important, and roots. Those can both be turned into flour, which will be important for biscuits. Vegetables is just a good baseline raw food. Now, Trapper's Camp is sort of the meat side of the thing, but our the harpies kind of dip into meat a little bit. But the one race that isn't represented here, lizards, is they're more meat centered. But since they're not here, and they can't be here because you can only have 3 races per town, I think the Forager's Camp is good. The other one is Herb Garden, which might be actually useful for biscuits, because you need spices to make biscuits in the form of herbs. Plus roots are useful too. Let me see so we can see here, natural resources. Grain is found in the wild, so that'll be good. Roots are not found in the wild. Neither are vegetables. Fertile soil, small amount. They see, there we go. The amount of fertile soil will determine how useful our farms are. And I don't think our opening area has fertile soil. Fertile soil is indicated by like tall grass. That's not fertile soil right there. It's like shaggy crabgrass by the looks of it. So I think in that sense, a Forager's Camp's probably the correct answer, because we can mass harvest grain. Because otherwise, what can we... Yeah. Grain, roots, and vegetables. It's unfortunate that we're lacking the roots and vegetables, and it's unfortunate that we're not getting the one that does mushrooms, because we are told explicitly that the mushrooms are plentiful around here, but these don't have the mushrooms as one of the... There's a third type of camp that does that. Then again, so Trapper's Camp, in meat, insects, eggs, there is meat and eggs here as harvestables. So we're more likely to run into... So what's the difference between these camps and the little camps? See how these are 2-star? There are certain resources are 1-star, like they're small, which means that the little basic camps can harvest them. You don't need any specialized. But sometimes resource nodes are bigger, and therefore you require a more specialized camp to actually be able to tap into them. That's where we're going with that. So if grain's going to be more important to us, but it's going to be the other 2 abilities, the other 2 things that they could forage might not work out, whereas we could be leaving a lot of food on the table if we don't go with the Trapper's Camp. I mean, we could always go with another camp here. Let's go foragers, just because grain's going to be important, and we're not going to probably not be able to farm grain very well. We'll go with that. Now, these just unlock them to build. You still actually have to build them. So first things first, the A number 1. Yeah, it's the herbalist camp that I wish if I was offered the full-sized herbalist's camp, I would have dove in on that in an instant. But because we get boosted mushroom harvesting during drizzle season, I'm going to get this set up ASAP. And I'm actually probably only going to operate it during drizzle season, so that every time we harvest mushrooms, it gets the boost. Where's the mushroom? Mushrooms every rain. +3 to mushrooms production. Gain additional mushrooms every yield. So basically, every time somebody taps one of these and takes mushrooms, they get 3 more. And these things can be, each of these tiles can be tapped 17 times. So we actually want to not harvest them during the other seasons, so that we always get the mushrooms. That'll be good for like raw food, just to keep our people from starving. And then for, yes, our carpenter. We absolutely want to get our carpenter going. Now, in order to build our carpenter, we need to get some cloth and some planks. So we actually, well, hang on. First things first, let's get our other gatherer going. The snake nest here will let us get eggs, plus some leather randomly. That's going to be a small trapper's camp. This is the other one that we turned down. But since these are small resources, they're fine. Yeah, that's fine right there. And I do like me, my instinct to do a crossroads build is strong. So these little crop things right here, these pathways are free. There's a more advanced version of them that is not free, but I do like the free version. All right, now one thing that we need to do is we need to make a couple of planks and a couple of bits of fabric. So I'm going to set up a crude workstation here, just so that we can get the stuff we need to make the carpenter. And now there is housing. We do have some homeless, but I need to get baseline stuff up first. And we're not at threat level 1. We need to get everybody in houses before we reach threat level 1 during that, so that we don't get hit with the fog. All right, enough jibba jabba. Let's unpause. Oh, actually, no. One more bit of jibba jabba. So each race has a special ability when they are your flame keeper. Fuel consumption in the hearth has decreased by 20%. That's pretty good, but I want to use our harpy. Our harpy increases everybody's carrying capacity by 5. And that stacks with the +5 carrying capacity from there. And since we have just the one harpy, that's fine by me. Harpies are also good at alchemy and cloth making. So each race is good at 2 specific things. So there's specific buildings that they'll be a little bit better at. There's also there's one thing that they're better at, and then there's one thing that they are happier to. So it actually increases their resolve. Okay. Oh, this counts as alchemy. I did not realize that the herbalist camp counts as alchemy. Huh. I mean, you can always swap out your people. So you know what? I'm gonna throw down the human. Yeah, impatience grows slower with humans at the helm. So we'll start with a human for now. If we get more harpies, then I think, because we definitely want a harpy here, and then one other person here. Yeah, we're saving our beavers for woodcutters, because the one thing that isn't random, I mean, the maps are random, but you're always in the middle of the woods, so there is always trees to cut down. Now, these little areas here, these are called glades. These are big clearings. We don't know what's in them, but they frequently have chunks of resources. Now, some glades are more dangerous than the others. There are gnarly events that can pop up if you're not careful. That being said, however, there's what am I saying? There's benefits to be had by solving the bad things that crop up. When you open up a dangerous glade, you can get even more rewards, but you have to be prepared for it. And each glade is different, so you don't necessarily know what you need to be prepared for a glade when you pop it open. There's always a risk. So it looks like we're not going to be popping open a glade right away, but that being said, we do need to get our woodcutters camp up and running. Anybody who is not working in a building will automatically work as a builder. So lizards, if we had them, would normally be happier working in the small trappers camp, but that's we don't have lizards. So I think so when you have someone who's working their specialization, they have a chance to get a double yield. So the human got a ×1 yield, which is normal. But the harpy, yeah, I think it has a 10% chance of doubling. So 10% of the time they'll get a double yield. It's not critical, but it's useful. All right, we want planks and fabric. We're not making bricks because we have our brickworker or brickworks. And the input materials for some things can be defined. We don't have anything that can make fabric. Right, okay. That's a little tough. What comes from the trees? Leather? You can sometimes get leather from the trees. Is leather a fabric thing? Yes, it is. Okay, so eventually, as we cut down trees, we will gather leather. Leather will eventually be turned into fabric. I'll queue up the reeds as well. But in the meantime, we can get some planks here. We need, 5 planks? We'll set the limit to 6 here. That way they don't go too nuts, because this is a very inefficient conversion. 8 raw wood to 2 planks. All right. Beavers are best at tree felling. Who'da thunk? And woodcutters can carry more. So yeah, all 3 of our beavers are absolutely going straight into the woodcutters camp. That leaves us 2 idlers. So what can we do with our idlers? We can get our housing brought up. We have beaver houses and human houses. These are meta unlocks that we get the blueprints for right away. What does our brickyard take? They require planks. So we want to get our carpenter up first. So we need the 2 cloth plus 5 planks. This will then make planks a lot more efficiently, which lets us get the brickyards up and running. There's the makeshift post for getting into trading. Actually, before we do that, let's get a trading post. This is what allows regular traders to show up. And is very, very important to get up, because then we could possibly barter for and trade for some of the crucial things that we need that we just can't produce locally. Oh yeah, the other thing is, so each year we get to start with a cornerstone. This is sort of like a global boon. Let's see, receive a free pack of provisions for every new villager. That's really good. Yeah, we're not going, if we had gone with that, we'd have that. Now here's an interesting one. Farmers' favorite food. Farmers have a 75% chance of producing double yields. This would be great if we had good fertile fields. We don't. So I'm going to take peasant supplies. Packs of provisions are really useful for sending out traders. And if we don't have a way of producing it, or producing them efficiently, we can just use this bonus packs to do trade. Yeah, I think this is the better one. If we had more fertile ground, I would absolutely go with biscuit diet, because again, all 3 of our races like biscuits. So yeah, peasant supplies. And that's a permanent bonus, and we get a new one of those, randomly speaking, each year. All right, so these are set for avoid glades except marked. So they're going to cut down trees that are not going to crack open a glade until I mark the trees to say, yeah, go ahead and crack that open. Because I want to get a trader down before we crack open a glade, because one trick is that if the glade's dangerous event requires some goods that you don't have, you might be able to get them quickly from a trader and therefore diffuse the dangerous event successfully, even if you can't produce that. All right, orders are another way to get reputation. These are quests. So what do we want here? A harvester's camp and a stonecutter's camp, or keep humans resolve above 20 for 30 seconds. And you can see what the rewards are for each of these. Yeah, I do like the Boxo grain here. And we can get the human resolve up pretty high by building human housing, so I will take that. There's no time limit on the objectives here, most of the time anyway. Beaver's resolve, get it above 16 for 30 seconds, or give up 35 wood. I don't like that. I will take the beaver resolve, because we have beaver housing. Let's see here. Sell goods worth at least 12 amber, that's kind of like gold, to a trader or a trade route, or deliver 15 copper ore. Let's see. Copper bars production, a chest of coal, and a box of tools. Now this is a perk. This is a permanent bonus. And if I remember correctly, we do have a one of our native resources is copper ore. So maybe not in our starting area, but in other glades as we open up, there's going to be good chances that we're going to get copper ores obtainable by a mine. And therefore getting, that boosted up will be a good thing. That lets us get copper bars, but to what end is the question. I'm still learning parts of this game. So if we go to I'll look at that later. I don't want to bog you guys down. But the question becomes, we're also going to be doing a fair amount of trading. Wildfire Essence lets you open up new hearths. This gets you tools as well. And deliver 7 amber. So we have to give up 7 amber, which is kind of pricey. I think I'm going to go with metal veins here. So we just need to find a copper ore and build a mine. Beavers like working in mines. It gives them it plays off of their engineering. All right, the trading post, we're just waiting for more raw wood. That's fine. So yeah, this little bar right here is our hostility of the forest, and this will go up as our population goes up, as we get more woodcutters, as we open up new glades. So we'll just need to be mindful of it. It only really bears its teeth when we enter the storm season. So right now it's kind of dormant, even if the hostility is higher. But we just need to be mindful of what it is when we go into storm season. Now, this first storm season, I think we're going to keep it under 1. So these little, these two, the creeping shadows and the fog, are probably not going to be problematic. One other thing about resolve here. So obviously we need to keep resolve above 0, otherwise they will start abandoning the village, and also increasing impatience every time someone abandons the village. Plus we lose out on the worker. On the flip side, you see these little blue ticks here? If we can get their resolve above the blue tick, they will start generating reputation passively, slowly. So that is one way that you can win, even if you don't do all of your orders here. That being said, our orders are sort of intertwined. We want to get the resolve up, both to generate it passively, but also to complete these orders, which give us a full tick when we complete it. One other interesting dynamic here is the queen's impatience actually kind of keeps hostility down. The more impatient the queen is, the lower hostility gets. I'm still scratching my head for the lore implication of that, but there's got to be a reason for it. All right, we're almost done with drizzle season, so I'm actually going to close down our herbalist camp. I think we have enough food to last us through, and that way yeah. So we're not demolishing it. We're just that. But now we have a few more spare people here. We are getting our trading post up. I'm gonna throw down the carpenter. We'll put you. Nah, carpenter right here is fine. We can also probably get another woodcutter's camp going, just because we have the raw people for it. Even though we don't have more beavers, we can put other people in there. We'll put you down here. Actually, hang on. It's nice that you can very freely move most of the buildings. Not all of them. There are some buildings that explicitly say you can't move them or they cost you extra to move them. But a lot of buildings can be moved. So we'll get the carpenter down here. So the trading post lets us, a trader will come along the way, 7 minutes, 21 seconds out, but that also lets us get trade routes, which lets us send materials out. And again, it's whatever they're buying plus packs of provisions. So that's where that perk comes in. Now we haven't invited anybody new yet, so we don't have any packs yet, but in due time, that will be a useful thing. And unfortunately, since this is our first city of the wipe, we only have a trade route with the smoldering city, the capital. Subsequent cities within that, you actually can trade with your old cities, and you get more and more options here. But for now, we only have the smoldering city to trade with. What I'll probably do is during clearing, I'll have our excess people working here. Actually, no, we can have you working here. Yeah, we have more of those, but we're still waiting on. I'm going to swap you out. Because again, we get to shift the bonuses however many times we want. So now we have 2 sets of woodcutters. Now, woodcutters specifically increase the hostility of the forest, but as long as we're not above level 1, we're good. So I'm good to run 2 woodcutters camps here and just get a good healthy wood income. Our hostility is just about at the 1 mark, but again, there's no specific ill effects from impatience until you reach the end. Once it reaches max, then it's game over. But that's more of a mercy kill. I found that that's basically death by stagnation. What I will probably do is, I don't want to open up a glade in the middle of, because of the whole creeping shadows, but I want to open up a glade in the middle of Storm, which is coming up next. You can see the progress to the next season here. Once Storm is done, then I will crack open this glade. You do have the ability to, by accruing some more patience, call the trader immediately. So if we need to get an emergency visit from the trader, that's a thing that can happen. How are we on cloth? Don't think we have any cloth yet. That may be something we need to absolutely trade for. So yeah, every tree that we cut down only has a 5% chance of giving us leather. So we can't really depend on the trees to give us leather. But yeah, we're going to need that in order to get our carpenter up and running. Or we just trade for the cloth, actually. That's another thing. Our trader could show up with just some completed cloth and we just trade for it. Since we have one person, I do think... Yeah, we need the brickworks to get human houses going. Beaver houses require just a lot of wood, which, again, I want to get the carpenter up first. Basic shelters, however, can get just basic people. And actually, we don't have the harpy house, so at least one basic shelter will work. I don't know how it determines who gets to go into a shelter, but it'll be 3 random people. Might as well get one shelter built. All right, we got 9 planks. We can start getting into we can start building a beaver. All right, I set the game to auto pause when we reach storm. Nothing for us to do differently. So, yeah, storm is when things get crappier. As you can see, everyone's resolve gets lower during this, and dangerously low for the harpies. If there's any other negatives weighing on them. Ah, we got our 2 cloth. Fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. And I think what I might do is I might get a beaver house going. But let's... Yeah, we got the 2 cloth. Let's build a beaver house. That will get the three beavers will immediately go into there, and that might even get, once the storm is over, that might bump up their resolve enough to finish that mission, which would be great because then we can tick another blueprint, which might give us something critical. Luckily, this storm, the storm season does not last as long, at least not in this difficulty level, and things will restore themselves. Okay, we have our carpenter. We definitely want to load this up. And yeah, we can do copper tools with this too. And yeah, we don't have any luxuries, so we're going to take off the luxury. And yeah, beavers working in the carpenter is also a thing, but I think I'm going to keep them in there. I'm gonna, yeah, you two need to just not be in here. We're gonna put this one to sleep. And we need to trim someone. We'll trim you. So now we're gonna be getting oodles canoodles of, small trapper's camp has no deposits nearby. Okay. Yeah, we used up all those eggs. We will just we'll make that one dormant. So actually, yeah, we can put the human back here. We want to take off planks. We do still need to make cloth here, but I don't want to have somebody sitting here doing that. Yeah, we should get our brickworks going next because we need to be able to produce bricks. Of course, we need the raw materials for bricks, which I don't think we have right now. What more? And actually, remind me, what raw materials do we have available to us that could be produced for bricks? Stone. Stone is our. You can make bricks out of stone. You can also make them out of clay, but we don't have clay naturally. So let's not make the brickworks until we actually have the raw materials for that. I should have factored that in because I don't know how well we're going to make clay pots. Okay, actually one thing, now that it's drizzle, we go back to a human flame keeper. We get our harpy back here. All right, what's our next cornerstone? Lost supplies. An unusual amount of supplies can be found in some glades. Gain 40 meat and 40 grain for each completed dangerous or forbidden glade event. We're about to do one of those. Newcomers arrive 15% quicker. No. I think we'll take lost supplies. It's perfect timing for us because we're about to crack open this glade. But now we get some newcomers. We want beavers, lots of beavers. This is lots of beavers. Although a second harpy would be really good, but I need the numbers. And 3 tools is nothing to sneeze at. So if we're looking at our, those are trade goods. Oh yeah, we got all those packs of provisions, which we can now send out a trade caravan for. Yeah, we put the beavers in here. One minute 30, so we can wait for him to come naturally rather than spike up the impatience. What's our trade route? Eggs. Yes, we can absolutely sell eggs. We can sell a ton of eggs and get 20 amber, which is a lot of money in the early game. Let's do it. Now it's going to take us 5 minutes to realize those profits, but that's good. Because that 20 amber can buy us some very important stuff. We have 5 beavers now, so we will get ourselves another beaver den. And then I will mark these trees so we can crack open our first glade. Yeah, because while we're going to, we just traded away basically all the eggs that we got here. Not all of them, but a whole bunch of them. We're getting even more mushrooms, and we're getting huge heaps and bonuses of mushrooms. All right, as soon as these trees fall, we get to see what this, and that's also when the timer starts on the dangerous event. Okay, our blood flower. It's deadly carrion organism that feeds on decaying matter. It spreads through contaminated rainwater and multiplies with time, becoming more and more dangerous. Blood flowers are a source of extremely rare resources. So if we harvest, cooked and raw food in the warehouse is disappearing at a rate of 2 items every 12 seconds. So we can work on this and get a bunch of resources to basically kill the blood flower, or we can let it spread, which I don't think we're really in a position to let it spread. So this is a good thing in the sense that we can solve it without having to feed it. Yeah, there's our blood flower. Now it is going to be sapping our food, but look at these giant wheat field things. Remember how we took that not the harvester's camp, yeah, the foragers camp, the full size foragers camp. That we need the full size foragers camp to field these things. The bare bones basic one wouldn't have cut it. So yeah, this is a fantastic glade, plus 2 different caches here that we could either crack. Oh, look at those bricks and flour. Now we do need stuff to crack it open with, and unfortunately this does not give us, oh, but it gave us leech brood. But yeah, that's where we would need the large meat camp, which we did not take. All right, but we have our trader. We don't need him for emergency trading purposes, but I was hoping he would bring me like bricks, but he doesn't. He can also buy perks. Pottery production we have, but yeah, we don't really have the basis for it. This is not a great trade. We could buy the cloth. That's probably our best bet, to buy cloth here, just for baseline buildings. We could also buy, if we want to get the beavers resolve up. Beavers love pickled goods. I don't think harpies don't do pickled goods. Humans don't do pickled goods, so the beavers would get a lot of benefit from the pickled goods, and that might push us over the top for beavers resolve, because that combined with their specialized housing, that would get that thing set. So as far as what we trade away though, I mean, we could trade away some of our provisions packs, but we only need like a little of these. Can we get one more of these? Yeah, that actually works out pretty well. I'm okay trade, because we're going to be getting more provisions packs. And plus, we're going to get that 20 amber once that thing. Also, you have the choice of attacking the trader. I have never done that. I don't know how that's going to go. Probably not very well. All right, so those beavers will eat those pickled goods, and their resolve will go up, and that should be enough for the guild here. All right, new orders. These just keep coming in. You don't lose access to the old ones. What do we have here? Fulfill, all right, so 16 points of basic housing need, or deliver packs of trade goods and provisions. Export specialization would be a good one. Wow. That reward is really good. If only we had the building that, you know what? I'm not going to pick one of these yet. I'm going to let that sit out for a little bit, because I need to see if my next building lets me make packs of trade goods, because that might be the strategy on which we hang our hat. Okay, beavers are above the critical threshold here. So now we just need to hold that for like 30 seconds. And then that will complete that order, and I'll get the rewards and, more importantly, the blueprint from that. Got it. So we get 30 roots, 2 new beavers, which is fantastic. Gears, yeah, this is good all around. All right, what do we get here? Distillery, wine, porridge, and barrels, not really interested in it. Biscuits, pie, and pottery, the bakery. I mean, the pottery's kind of redundant from what we already have. But biscuits, we already established, is going to be an important source of food. Now, biscuits are all well and good if we have flour. We don't currently have a way to make flour, but this is early on in the thing. Getting fabric is also going to be a good thing. Yeah, I think the bakery's probably the better thing, because pie, humans and harpies like pie. So the bakery's going to be a good thing. But again, without the ability to make flour yet, I'm not going to build it. But we do need more beaver houses here, because these only hold 2. We are up to 7 beavers. And we're going to get a 3rd beaver here. And a beaver here. And actually those 2 beavers probably brought in more packs because they're technically arrivals. But still no source of, actually hang on. You don't have stone or clay with you, so I can't buy anything to make bricks with, which is unfortunate. Is there any other things that we want to trade for before you go away? Yeah, I kind of wanted some cloth. Can we do a 2 for 2 here? 180? Nah. Nah, it doesn't balance out nicely. Can we do that for 3? No. Actually, I'm going to hold my packs of provisions. Let's trade away a few tools, because we have the wherewithal to make them. Well, 1 tool, and then we'll trade away a few roots. Yeah, it's still kind of messy, though. Let's make it 2 tools, and then get a little bit more cloth from you. Yeah, that's better. That way we have some working supply of cloth. Also, this small trapper's camp can move up here because these small eggs are within their domain. Now, once these 2 are done dealing with this flower, actually the flower is dead. They just need to take the goodies. Not too sure about how useful those goodies are, but at the very least they're going to be good trade fodder. And yeah, again, I want the brickworks up and running, but without a supply of bricks, actually we can't even really crack these open to get at the bricks without stone. I do want to crack this one open because it also has flour and ingots. This one has a lot of things, but we're probably better off with sending to the Citadel because we get a full reputation boost plus 30 amber. Rather than taking these goods. Although 20 oil or 40 oil is really good. Reeds can also be made into cloth. We can get copper. No, this one we want to send. What is our tool count looking like? We sold 1 too many tools, but we can make tools. That's the thing. We use crystallized dew. And one of you can make us a thing of tools. Yeah, you're bringing over the crystallized dew, so you're going to make us a thing of tools. And that will be enough for us to crack open, or send this to the Citadel. Okay, deactivate. Harpy goes back as Flamekeeper. We also do need to get a the swamp wheat field, because look at all this plant fiber too. This is nuts. So this is Forager's Camp. And now the other thing we want to do is small hearth. Yeah, it needs bricks. Well, we can still do a small warehouse over here. Ooh, and we have ourselves a trade route available. You want water skins. We actually don't need our water skins, so this is a fantastic trade. And also, as we trade more and more amber's worth of goods to it, it levels us up and we get more and more valuable trades. Now, with this trading post system, you only ever have... you only ever sell goods, but it's still worth it because amber can then be used at merchants to buy things. Now I think, yeah, humans get the bonus to working here. So we will absolutely have our humans going here. And you're just about done with your tools here. So what I'm going to do is mark you for send to the Citadel. And that will give us even more goodies. Plus it'll also give us that one more reputation notch. Usually you don't get a full-sized reputation notch from them, but this one's special. And then next year, I think we open up another new glade. We also should keep our eyes peeled for the large camp. This one, we also need to keep our eyes open for stone. We need stone so badly. Actually, this glade will probably be the next one we want to open up. But again, we're at hostility level 1. We need to, and we don't have everybody housed yet. We're probably going to need to take away a couple of woodcutters that'll bump it back down so we don't get the fog effect. But that doesn't take effect until storm. All right, so we have still 8 homeless people. 1 beaver needs a beaver house. Humans can't go into human houses just yet. Let me just throw down another all-purpose shelter here. Just to knock down our numbers a little bit, get our base yeah, because the harpy still doesn't have a house, and they might nope out of here. By themselves. So we just want to get this basic shelter up before the storm hits, hopefully. And hopefully the harpy gets in there, because I do not want to lose our harpy. And we are low on fuel, which is understandable. I don't think we're about to lose completely out on fuel. It's because we used 10 wood to build this shelter, but this was a worthwhile construction. I do wish I could, like, say who gets to go in here. Harpy did not go in here. Yeah, it doesn't look like we can slot the harpy in there. All right, we need to take away 1 woodcutter. That drops our thing down by 1. Yeah, see, harpies are about to nope out of here. What did we... All right, that's better. We got to keep the hostility down. All right, so yeah, these two are. Oh, that's why the hostility went up. Is we got our next thing here, and our impatience went down. That's why. All right, what do we got here? Weaver is so good for fabric. Provisioner. Oh man, provisioner. Dang. Well, I mean, we don't really need the packs of provisions as much, but the flour is going to be huge. Coats. All three of our races need coats. Training gear, packs of trade goods. Wait, we need packs of trade goods, don't we? Packs of trade goods and oh yeah. Okay. As much as I want to go provisioner or clothier, weaver for both for the fabric, but also the packs of trade goods is going to be huge. And that actually means we can get rid of this crappy building entirely. And then we can also pick our next order here. 50 grain will give us a bunch of humans and a bunch of bricks. And jerky, which our harpy singular will like. Human clan support. Yeah. Yeah, let's do the human influx. We have the 50 all right, I'm gonna deliver this afterwards. I mean, we still don't have the good thing for that, but getting all those bricks will let us get human houses down. We'll wait for the storm before I pop, because the increase in population would cause our hostility to creep back over to the higher level. But yeah, so nice that we have a mission we can pop instantly. And I'm really glad our harpy is hanging on there. Hopefully she cycles into one of the generic shelters once we start building more of the species one. There's a chance that we get a species-specific one, but we have to be offered it by a blueprint. I have not unlocked the automatic species-specific blueprint for harpies. That's a little bit further down the tree than I am, but I definitely want to because I like harpies as one of the races. And also we're going to crack open the next glade, which, yeah, actually now, go ahead and crack it open now. By the time you actually fell the trees, we'll be ready for it. All right. So in our next episode, we're going to get our humans, get our next boon, get our next influx of people, and go from there, and also see what we can trade. There's a lot that is weighing in our favor here. If only we can keep ahead of our fuel needs. So if you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, it's been Pinstar signing out. See ya.